A drilling crew in the Serbian wilderness digs up a man who's been buried alive for 200 years. And the very first words he speaks, a desperate, raspy plea in French, aren't for food or water. He begs them to kill him. Today, we're digging into a story where the ground itself is a womb for horrors, and what crawls out has a horrifying agenda. This is Hell Hole. The crew, led by the pragmatic and tough as nails Emily, is already on edge. They're stuck in the middle of nowhere, roads flooded, and a team of conservationists, led by the smug Professor Nicola, is breathing down their necks, delaying their multi-million-dollar fracking operation over a glorified bunny rabbit. Emily's second in command, John, a gruff, no-nonsense runneck, has zero patience for the holdup. He just wants to drill, get paid, and get out. But the discovery of the buried man throws a wrench in everyone's plans. They bring him back to the camp, a filthy, terrified specter from a forgotten time. He's weak, malnourished, but his eyes burn with a singular, insane purpose. Emily tries to be humane, ordering her crew to keep him safe. But John, ever the cynic, sees him not as a victim, but as a threat. He argues they should lock him up, quarantine him, because something about this man is profoundly wrong. The language barrier is a wall of confusion. During the confusion, one of the crew, a scientist, notices something disturbing. As the man convulses, something meaty alive, peeks out from his nostril. Not snot, not a worm. Something else. The conservationists, Nicola and his bright-eyed intern Sophia, are ecstatic. This isn't just a historical anomaly, it's a biological miracle. They immediately move to take samples, their scientific curiosity overriding any sense of danger. They draw blood, they swab his skin. As they work, another one of the things, like a tiny, pale tentacle, briefly protrudes from the man's ear. John is the only one who sees it clearly, and his disgust turns to alarm. Fed up with the scientific poking and prodding, John decides to take matters into his own hands. He's going to get some answers, one way or another. Emily leaves him to babysit, a decision she will regret for the rest of her short life. But the man doesn't want food. He wants a weapon. In a flash, he grabs John's knife and tries to end his own life. John reacts instantly, tackling him, trying to wrestle the knife away. He thinks he's preventing a suicide. He's not. He's initiating a transfer. As they struggle on the floor, John overpowering the frail man, something horrific happens. The Frenchman's mouth opens, and it's not a scream that comes out. Slimy, writhing tentacles, pale and obscene, erupt from his throat, squirming through the air, seeking a new home. They find one in John's open, screaming mouth. The parasite has jumped ship. The moment the transfer is complete, the Frenchman's body undergoes a grotesque transformation. He desiccates in seconds, flesh shriveling, skin turning to dust, until all that's left is a brittle, hollow mummy. When the others find him, they see the mummified corpse and immediately suspect foul play. Emily notices a strange, organic stench, like rot and sulfur, clinging not to the corpse, but to John. While John spirals into a paranoid breakdown, convinced something is now inside him, Nicola and Sophia are making a breakthrough. They analyze the samples from the man and the drill site. The science is terrifying. The man wasn't just infected, he was in a symbiotic relationship. His cells were intertwined with a foreign entity, a type of algae commonly found in giant clams, allowing him to survive in an environment with no nutrients. But it's more than that. The slime from the drill and the tissue from the man share DNA with a specific type of octopus, the Argonaut. And the shell he was found in. It wasn't a shell. It was an egg case. And now, that premature infant, that parasitic baby monster, has found a new womb. John's condition deteriorates rapidly. He's holed up in his room, staring at his own reflection, tormented. He tells Teddy the truth, that tentacles came out of the Frenchman and into him, that the foul smell is the creature inside him. Teddy, thinking John is having a psychotic break, tries to mock him out of it, challenging him to an arm wrestle. A display of aggression. It's the last mistake he'll ever make with John. John, being the sensitive soul he is, thought a good old-fashioned test of strength was the answer. He was wrong. So wrong. The moment John asserted his dominance, the thing inside Christian panicked. It triggered a biological failsafe, turning its host into a liquid hot meat grenade. Meanwhile, two other crew members, Danko and Philip, are out on a drive. They stumble upon their fellow crewmate, Christian, dead and half buried. And the man digging the grave is John. Panic erupts. Philip draws a gun on John. Danko, trying to de-escalate, accidentally shoots Philip in the head. He turns his gun on John, but before he can pull the trigger, John explodes. In the aftermath, Denko sees it. A quivering ball of jelly, a squid-like thing, hiding under the car. Before he can react, it launches itself at him, an umbrella of slimy arms and writhing appendages, forcing its way inside him. The camp descends into total chaos. A theory forms: the creature is drawn to aggression and only infects men. The women, Emily and Sophia, seem to be immune, useless to its reproductive cycle. This makes every remaining man on the site a potential incubator. Nicola is in a state of religious ecstasy. He sees Denko not as a victim, but as a blessed vessel, a legendary figure carrying a miracle of evolution. He declares that Denko's job is to nourish the creature until it's ready to be born. The rest of the crew, led by the hot-headed Luca, sees it differently. Denko is a time bomb. They want to execute him, to put a metal pill in his head and be done with it. Emily, trapped between a mad scientist and a lynch mob, makes a chillingly pragmatic decision. She brokers a deal. She'll let Luca and his men take Denko away, ostensibly to the authorities. She gives them her blessing. Deep in the woods, Luca's crew prepares to execute Denko. They're cocky, standing close, guns ready. Denko walks toward a designated tree, his death march. The moment their aggression peaks, the creature strikes. Denko explodes in the same gory fashion as John. But this time, in the open, the parasite doesn't just seek a new host. It manifests. A monstrous, tentacled beast, a whirlwind of claws and teeth, emerges from the gore and descends upon the crew. It's a slaughter. Men are torn apart, their bodies exploding as the creature rampages through them. Only one man, Ivan, survives the initial onslaught. And in the chaos, he becomes the new host. When Ivan stumbles out of the woods and finds the remaining survivors, Emily, Teddy, Sophia, and Nicola, he knows he's a walking bomb. He tells them what happened, that Emily's warning was real, that all the others are dead. Nicola, ever the lunatic, tries to comfort him, telling him to let the baby grow. But Ivan has seen the monster. He knows what he has to do. He says he heard water is a nice way to die. Ignoring Nicola's protests, Ivan walks calmly into a nearby lake. He wades out until the water is over his head, a final, desperate act of self-sacrifice to drown the monster inside him. For a moment, there is silence. And then the lake erupts. Ivan's sacrifice didn't kill the creature. It freed it. A colossal tentacled beast, the fully matured monster, rises from the depths, its form no longer needing a host. Its first act is to target Nicola. The scientist who worshipped it, who called it a miracle, is impaled on a massive tentacle and dragged screaming into the bloody water, a fittingly ironic end. Emily, Teddy, and Sophia can only watch in horror before turning to run, the shrieks of the lake monster echoing behind them. They are stranded, hunted, and have just witnessed the birth of a god from hell. And the most chilling part, as they flee for their lives, they have no idea that this is not the first time this has happened. That 200 years prior, a starving platoon of Napoleon's soldiers, lost in these same woods, made the fatal mistake of killing their own horse for food. The scent of blood in the air woke something ancient and hungry. A creature that burst from the trees and slaughtered them, leaving only one survivor, a terrified captain, to be buried alive waiting to be found.